and I don't know what happened. I got cut off. I don't know if that was the internet provider or YouTube. I literally couldn't disconnect and I couldn't reconnect. It said end stream or like continue and literally wouldn't let me press the buttons. So I had to like shut everything down and restart it, including my internet connection. I like restarted everything. So hopefully it works, but we're about to see the vegetable garden when I got cut off, and I know everybody's gone. That's okay, we'll continue where we left off. We had just checked out the English cucumbers. There's one here, and there's one over here. And we're going to check out the tomatoes. These are homegrown tomatoes. They were started one here, and here they're doing pretty well in the garden. This one was started in milk jugs. Pretty slow to grow, but it's doing fine. And some basil started in hydroponics, just put outside yesterday. So my monster lettuces, I have been eating from these guys. And garlic. Garlic is doing pretty well. My cabbage is on fire with growth here. How can I keep groundhogs and deer away? My cucumbers and zucchini were eaten to the root. Groundhogs and deer. Well, you need a really good fence for your deer. And groundhogs, I don't have those. My thought would be chicken wire. We used to have cats putting in my front garden mulch. I put chicken wire down and then I covered it with more mulch and a couple of rocks on the side to keep it down, and the cats stopped pooping in the garden. So maybe something like that. I'm not 100% sure if that would work for your situation. If you're growing vegetables, maybe you could plant the vegetables between the wire. I don't know if that would work, but you could try. So back in the garden now, we were talking about the cabbage. The cabbage is going bananas. And I just realized that cabbage and tomatoes absolutely love each other. They're doing so well together. Yes, CR, take number 2. I don't want take number 3, so hopefully this goes okay. Lots of garlic is growing crazy. This is literally about 2 to 3 feet tall, which is insane. Whoops, I'm stepping on things. And now we're going to check out something that I think is absolutely bananas. This has gone so crazy, and I'm going to see if I can put the phone down to show you. These are my potatoes, and I can't even do the camera justice. Let's see if I can put the camera down and you'll still see it. Will you see it? I don't know. Not really, kind of. You see over, whoa, I am dancing. Here are potatoes. I'm trying to show you how big they are. They're absolutely massive. I'll turn the camera around again. They are like, no joke, I'm gonna say these are 3 feet tall. I've never ever in my life seen potatoes grow like this. Don't compact the soil. It's a little late for that. It's already compacted in many places, but yeah, I don't know what got into these potatoes. And it's weird because these were planted about a month or two after the potatoes I have here, and these are minuscule. Like, look at this. And let's come over here and check this out. Like, they literally, my kneecap is down here. These go halfway up my thighs, which is insane. I'm 5'4", so you could probably do the math. I'm gonna estimate it has to be about 2.5 to 3 feet tall, these potatoes. Like, I have never in my life, I've grown potatoes for on and off for 10 years. I have never, ever, ever seen them grow like this. This is bananas. This is so wild. Like, what the heck? It's like they're on steroids, and I promise you, I didn't give them anything like that. I only do organic gardening. I didn't even use many fertilizers this year. Like, sometimes I use bone meal and rock phosphate. I really didn't put much in the soil this year at all. I was trying to be more budget friendly this season. Cover crop. How many seasons do you have there? Does it rain? Where are the bees? I have yet to see bees. Oh, we looked at bees earlier, but I'll take you back to find more in a little bit. They like certain plants, like my raspberries. Yeah, I don't know what's gotten into these. I'm super delighted that they're huge, but I am like so shocked because nothing else is growing like this in the garden. Like, what the heck? Did these potatoes like have some kind of magical potion or something? Like, I don't even understand, but it's so cool. And like, look beside them. These corn were planted just days later than the potatoes. And I mean, the difference is crazy. Like, what in the world? Like, why are these so tiny and this is so huge? And the onions. Onions are growing well. We planted 160 on the same day that the potatoes were planted. Like, literally the same time. It was a live stream. And this is the onions. They're not bad, but they're nothing like the potatoes. Like, this is just bonkers. Totally crazy. And just for you, CR, I will show you my sunflowers. I don't have very many this year. I actually didn't plant them. These are volunteers from last season. I have a few of them. They're pretty small still, so I'll probably have just a small handful of sunflowers. Last year I had pretty much, I'm going to say like 30, 40 sunflowers, which was lovely, but they do take up a lot of real estate in the garden, and I wanted to have more space for more things. Yes, I eat the sunflowers. I do sometimes, and they fresh out of the oven or on a barbecue, honestly, they're similar to steak if you cook them right. Now, there's going to be a lot of arguments about that, but that's my own perception. If you cook them well, spice them well, they are so good, a really good steak alternative, but you have to pick them at the right time. They need to be of ripeness to get that good flavor. So if you've never eaten how to cook and eat an entire sunflower video on this channel, you can check it out if you're interested. I actually learned about that on Facebook, a garden group. Somebody else had been barbecuing sunflowers in the summertime, and that's where I learned about that. And then I did a YouTube search. There's one other YouTuber who has posted about that, and then I went for it and I made my video. I'm being told by different areas in Georgia that there are no bees. So you have bees? Yes, I have lots of bees. Not apparent right now. It's actually evening time, so they're gone to sleep, but we will look at some bees. These are the chives. Chives are delicious. Kale flowers. Let's eat some kale flowers for anyone who's never seen you eat kale flowers. We'll do a little picking. These are edible, and I have eaten probably hundreds of them by now. Last summer was the first time I started eating flowers. And kale flowers are so good. I routinely put them in my salads that I have for lunch. They have just a very light tang, not spicy really, but like a nice tang flavor. They really punch up your salads for flavor. You like Jerusalem artichokes, beautiful flowers and delicious bulbs. I've never tried the bulb before. Well, have I? I've eaten artichokes. I've never grown them, but I've eaten them. Now, when you eat them, are you eating the leaves or are you eating the bulbs? Like, if say you bought a can of artichokes or something like that, is that the leaf of the artichoke or is that the bulb that you're eating? I'm not really sure. I can't remember. It's been a while. I'm gonna have a drink of water just a minute. I am thirsty. Water is so delicious. I don't care what anybody says, nothing beats an ice cold drink of water. Oh, it is so good and refreshing. I love ice. I put lots of ice in my water. I think next we're going to check out my apple tree. Artichoke and Jerusalem artichoke are like two different plants. Oh, I had no idea. That's quite interesting. Tell me more about the artichokes. In what way are they different plants? I see. We are going to check out an apple tree, and I think I'm going to do a little bit of live thinning with you. I really need to do this. I've been holding off doing a thorough thinning, but check out the trees. Now, there is no excuse for me letting my trees get the way they were last season. I mean, it was good. 500 apples was awesome, but this actually might be more than 500. I honestly think we probably have like 700 to 800 at least here. Like, this is just pretty bananas how wild this is. Nice to talk to you. Can I talk to you personally? You can talk to me here all you would like. And this is another apple tree over here. So between the two apple trees, there are quite a few apples here. Lots and lots, and I definitely need to thin them out. Jerusalem artichoke looks like a small flowers and have bulbs underground, almost like potatoes. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's good to know. That's a lot of pie filling. Oh my gosh, a lot of pie filling, a lot of apple crisp, a lot of everything really. So this is so painful for me. I'm going to do it, but it's so hard because I love these fruits and it's always like, do I take them off? What I should really be going for are these smaller ones here. These are the first ones I should be taking off if I'm doing this properly. Start with the smallest ones and then work your way up to the bigger ones. That is the proper way to do a fruit tree thinning. I mean, you can do it other ways, but you might as well do it. Get rid of the weakest ones, the smallest ones first, because they're not going to do much anyways. And your tree doesn't need to waste the energy by putting energy into these little ones that aren't going to do very much. I'm actually glad that I'm live streaming because I have been putting this off because I hate thinning the apples. I hate thinning all the fruit trees. It's so hard because you know the trees work so hard to produce and they get pollinated, and then it's like, it's not exactly an emotional attachment, but it's hard to take off things that were growing, the tree created. I might as well water some plants now. Okay, goodbye, CR. Thanks for stopping by. And we're going to take some more of these tiny little spindly little bits off the tree. There are so many. I should really do a thorough. Uh-oh, look at this. We have a problem. This looks like peach leaf curl on the apple tree. I don't like that at all. We are going to pluck that off. And I don't know how that got here. I don't like it. I don't want this tree getting sick. Got some more to prune here. If you have a backyard orchard of your own, or not even an orchard, but just fruit trees, if you want healthy fruit trees, oh, check this out. There is a swarm. I don't know if you can see it. There's a swarm of these little tiny bugs. There's like hundreds of them. Is the camera actually focusing? Like, there's so many of them right here. I don't know if those are mosquitoes or what the heck they are, but it's like a swarm of little bugs. I should be thinning my peaches, but I don't want to. I know it is so hard. What happens here, normally in June, we get a whole bunch of wind and it knocks a lot of fruit off the trees, but I don't know if that's gonna happen this year because it's not June yet. I mean, tomorrow is June, but we had a massive windstorm come through about, let's say 2 to 3 nights ago. And it didn't last very long, but it was so crazy, the wind. And I came outside the next day. MD, do you garden too? And I checked all my fruit trees. I expected to lose a lot of fruit, and I literally saw not a single fruit on the ground, and I was like mind blown. The wind, I don't know how many kilometers it was, but it was absolutely crazy. It lifted somebody's mini carport, like one of those temporary carports, onto the road, and it was bouncing around. This means I have more thinning to do. Saturday is June. Well, I have trouble keeping track of the days, so that's not surprising. Excuse me. We have more fruits to thin here. Wow, this tree is absolutely full. I'm assuming you guys have seen enough fruit tree thinning. We'll take a look at something else. Maybe my blueberries. Coming over here, I have several blueberry bushes here. And they have started to produce their blueberries. We're nowhere near ripe yet. They have a long way to go still, but there's quite a few blueberries on this bush. Here, there, and everywhere. There's the odd little flower. And this is a bug. I don't hate this. What state are you in? Am I in the US? No, I am in Canada on Vancouver Island. We're a zone, controversially, zone 7 to 9. Some people say 9, some people say 8, and some people say 7. So somewhere in the middle. Yes, this is a spit bug, and I don't mind them, but they make a big mess on the plants. Not my favorite thing. I always hose them off when I see them usually. So let's take a look. Here's some lettuce, and oh, I'll have to eat those later. My carrots are going crazy. And I will show you the raspberries. There was a swarm of bees there earlier, but I think the swarm has disappeared. I showed it earlier in the stream when the swarm had already disappeared, but I started it because they were here. But these little tiny flowers, the bees love them. They look like nothing, but literally, the bees go crazy for raspberry flowers. So, what else can we show you? I'll show you my little memorial garden for my dog who is no longer around. He passed away. The kale has gone to seed, and I actually saw the hummingbird one day drinking from the flowers, which was nice. This is a little memorial garden I made for my golden retriever who died a few months ago. These are cabbages actually growing in the memorial garden, and some ferns. He loved ferns. He loved to mutilate my vegetable plants in the vegetable garden. That's why I put these in his garden. There's a palm tree and some crocosmia flowers. Strawberries are growing really well. And there are berries on the bushes, which is so exciting. Flower. And this is a little public service announcement. If you start eating flowers, you will strawberries are listed as being edible. And they absolutely are. But let me tell you, don't eat them. Don't bother. They taste horrible. Absolutely horrible. Not a good one to try. Even though they are edible, not every flower is delicious, that's for sure. What did we not show you? See what we can see. Maybe my Japanese maple. All my bees are actually in the rock garden right now. That's what you see. That's where you will see the most, but I don't go there on live streams, really. Your strawberry didn't make it. Oh, that's so sad. R.I.P. little strawberry plant. Yeah, I think. Well, we have another blueberry bush here. We could look at that. Sometimes I don't really know what to show on these little live streams. There's lots of blueberries going on in this one. This is a totally different location. This blueberry bush gets a lot less water than the ones I showed you earlier. Darn you, snow. Oh yeah, snow, snow, snow. The joys of living in Canada. And a weed or a wildflower in the mix, depending on your perspective. We've got some strawberries here. Well, I don't normally show my front garden, but I'm going to be very careful. I don't like to show my surroundings in case there's anybody local. Actually, Oh my God, my mom loves Ian. Okay, I don't know who Ian is, and that's nice that your mom is loving Ian. All the love in the world is good. So, I think there is something I want to show you in the rock garden. I'm just going to show you very carefully. So, I'm going to point the camera mostly at the ground, just because I don't really want the local landmarks to be exposed. But I do want to show you something there, and I don't really want to do a separate video. So we'll just carefully tread to the rock garden. Now, I haven't really shown it before in the live area. You'll see lots of other videos in my rock garden if you look at my long form content. We'll just be careful with the camera. I wanted to find some bees because I had one or two people asking about the bees, and they usually hide out over here. Now, I do think many have gone to sleep, but there are still a few buzzing around here. This is during the day. You see, I'm going to say like probably 50, 100 of them at a time in this area on a daily basis, but I think a lot of them are going to bed already. It's getting into the evening now here. Where are you, little bee? See if I can find some more plants with more bees on them. Maybe they're into the rhodos right now. Let's check the rhodos. There's plants everywhere here. It's kind of a lot of plants in this area. Let's see here. I do hear the bees. How many are around? There's a few here and there. In one of my recent videos, I showed a bee that I truly think had overdosed on pollen because it was like comatose in the flower, and I don't think it was sleeping. It was still moving. But if you think of a substance overdose, it was like the bee had pretty much overdosed on the pollen. It was quite intriguing, actually. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but can you guys hear the buzzing? I can hear the buzzing in real time. Where are they hiding out? They seem to be sporadic today. They're not in clusters. While they do go for other flowers too, recently they seem to be most interested in the rhododendrons and the Grace Ward. And there's a foxglove just starting to bloom. You can see lots of daisies here. And interestingly enough, bees are actually not really attracted. I shouldn't say that, I see one right now, but overall, they're not super attracted to daisies, which I find kind of interesting. Even at peak times, there's not many bees on these flowers. I think there's a foxglove here. No bees on this one. See the shadows starting. You can always have a little fun with shadows. I think I'm going to end the live stream here. I think I've covered a majority of the plants in the garden for now, so thank you for joining me. Did I see a butterfly? I've seen several butterflies when my camera hasn't been out this season. I will try to get them on camera. I didn't see one right now, and now that I glanced over my shoulder, I just told you that the bees don't like the daisies. Do I have plants in there? I want to see the inside of your home. Do I have plants in there? Yes, I do. If you want to see my house plants, if you go on my channel afterwards, I'm going to end the stream soon. If you check in the live section, I did a live houseplant care video, and you can see most of my houseplants there. And I also did a live houseplant tour a few months ago, so you can see all of my houseplants there. If you're interested, I'm not going to do one today, but probably I could do another one in the near future with my houseplants. I haven't shown them recently, actually. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I just remembered something I forgot. And your question about the houseplants 100% reminded me I can show you something houseplant related in the garden. Check this out. We're going a little further over. And I have houseplants in the garden. Does that mean they're houseplants? You decide. These are my cactuses, and they are living their best lives on this little table here outside. I don't know the lighting is poor. I don't know the variety of this cactus, but it's certainly having a good time outside. They've been outside for about a month now almost. We had summer temperatures and then the temperatures dropped. I love this cactus because it's pretty smooth. Oh nice, I have many houseplants in my home. So hard to maintain, but I have to move them all the time. But if you can find a good spot, then they might not be too tricky, but I've killed my share too. These are dragon fruit cacti. They're looking a little shabby, but that's okay. They're on the mend. Here's a prickly cactus, and I'm not going to touch it, but it's doing well. And then we have the Leaning Tower of Pisa here. This cactus has been cut multiple times as I try to make it grow straight, and instead it grows multiple branches. It's kind of like a branch cactus, which is kind of cool, I guess. And then I'm going to show you my absolute favorite cactus right here. Whoa, let's move it. Right here, this is called a coral cactus. It's grafted. I don't know what this part is called, but it's so silky smooth. Like, I love that you can touch the cactus. It is so nice to touch. And this is so beautiful. This is like my most epic cactus. I just love it so much. Look at the color. It is like a purpley pink and a little bit of greenish. So gorgeous. And it has little spikes, but they're very minimal. Like, I can touch it. Like, I don't want to really touch it, but I can touch it pretty well, and I'm not hurting myself, which is so nice. I just can't believe how much it's grown. These cactuses, I've had most of them for, say, 3 to 5 years. So they're getting a good size now, actually. And I'm trying to remember where I got this one. I really don't remember now that I think about it. I think it was a box store, but I'm not sure anymore. They do kickboxing. I was in Canada a month ago. One of my kids fought out there. Oh, okay, cool. Very interesting. And I have another cactus to show you. Here. This cactus has quite the history. You may have heard this story if you've been on my channel for a while. This is a prickly pear cactus. Actually, it's 2 prickly pear cactuses, and it has quite the history. Now, you might have seen or heard this story if you've been here for a while. I've told it, I'm going to say 5 or 6 times on this channel, but I'll tell it one more time for the sake of the live stream. This cactus survived decapitation. No joke. I'm not joking at all about this, and I can show you the evidence. I brought this cactus home. One cactus. Basically, the paddle broke, and that is the scar from, say, 4 or 5 years. Was it 4 years ago maybe when that happened? Maybe even 5 by now. I can't remember. And I was devastated because I didn't have many other cactus at the time. Speak of the box, gotta go. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks for stopping in. And I didn't know what to do, so I asked on a Facebook houseplant group. I said, my cactus just got decapitated, essentially, like broke right at the base. What do? I want to save it. They said, put it in cactus soil, cactus and succulent soil. Put it in there. Do not water it for 1 whole month. Do not touch the water. And I followed the instructions explicitly. and lo and behold, it rooted. Now I ended up with 2 cactuses because I had the original one, which was rooted, which was a little stump, and then I had the broken bit. So that's how I ended up with these 2 separate cactuses. So this cactus, I hope I have it forever because literally it is a survivor. I didn't in a million years think this cactus would survive, and it did. It literally healed. It has an old wound, but it is growing strong, and I just love how resilient it is. So in theory, because these are prickly pear cactuses, one day they could actually produce fruit. So I think that is super cool. I have not seen that yet. They haven't flowered, but they're pretty, like, I think compared to normal size prickly pears. There's another YouTuber I watch. Her name is Patricia N. Cube. She does garden tours, and she's in the southern United States. She has them growing like naturally in her garden, in the back garden, and they're massive. They're probably like 3, 4, 5 feet tall, her prickly pears. I think hers do produce fruit. So if you compare that to mine, they have a long way to go, but they have grown a lot. So there is hope that in a few years, maybe they will produce. Some plants are quite resilient at times. Yes, they are at times. But strawberry wasn't one. No, apparently not. Plants, not everyone makes it, and that's just the reality. It's the same with people. Not all people survive till a full lifespan. Some people die young, some people die old. You never know when your time is coming. And here's another cactus. I can't remember if I propagated this one. These 3, I think 1 or 2 were propagations. I had a whole cactus propagating container that I downsized because some weren't doing well and I just didn't really need them anymore. But I can't remember if these were or not. Anyways, I think I have covered more than enough plants. I know I have more plants, but I think I've done enough talking for this evening. So I will say goodbye. Thanks for stopping in. CR, you might be the only one left. Anyone else who might be out there, thank you for joining me on my 2 live streams, which was supposed to be 1, but see ya, rooting for you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good evening, day, or night, wherever you are. Bye-bye.